Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport live on our YouTube channel. And today I'm with Kara Davies, our fellow tennis expert. She may hate me for saying expert because if she's wrong about something it doesn't look good to her, but she's right in it now. She's live, she can't go back. And I actually just told her a minute ago we're going to go live and she was like, oh heck. So everything
You stitched me up there, Jamie. You stitched me up.
So everything you had to say before the show is now gone.
I know. I can't hide anything in the edit now, so I've a bit of pressure on me this time round.
I mean, at least I don't have to Photoshop myself. You know what I mean? You know, I can't do that anymore. I make myself look like David Beckham with sleeveless tattoos and the best hair in the world, of course. But now I'm wearing this Primani shirt. Anyway. Welcome, folks, if you've just tuned in. Of course, we don't normally talk about tennis that much on YouTube. I think the last time we talked tennis was actually with you, Kara, which was talking about a call that's the same colour as your hair, and that was the French Open, clay court. I do apologise for being a gingerist there. But, of course, it was weird because that was back in October, and I keep thinking last year was normal, no COVID, and I thought that was back in May, so thinking that was a long time ago, but really, Carl, it's been the gap between two Grand Slams of French and Aussies actually been very small.
Yeah, it's been a small turnaround, hasn't it? Like, you blink, it's the end of the French Open. You blink again, we're into a new year, and before we know it, the Australian Open has started and finished. It's been a quick few months.
I think as well, I mean, amazingly, we had the finals at the end of the year, the ATP finals, which is quite surprising to think that they even had that, because it just seemed a bit weird to have a tournament that represented the top 8 because of how they did in the season, and yet you think, well, they didn't really play that many tournaments. It was half of it was basically being in their home gyms and probably rewatching their best matches. I mean, for Federer Nadal and Djokovic, they can do all that, can't they? They can watch their best matches, while people like Del Potro will go, yeah, I was injured in that game. Yeah, I was injured. Murray saying, yeah, I lost in that final again. Oh, I'm only joking. But anyway, of course, yesterday was the Australian Open final between Novak Djokovic and Daniel Medvedev. And I must admit, Kara, I really thought Medvedev was going to win it. I thought he was going into that match as the favourite. Djokovic, of course, he's a king of the Australian Open. He's won it 9 times now, I think.
Yeah, 9.
The most that anybody has done it in men's tennis. And I thought to myself, maybe Medvedev will win because he's in the form of his life. He's finally, he beat Nadal, he beat Tsitsipas comfortably, I thought, in that semi-final. And, yeah, he's already got a Grand Slam final under his belt at the US Open, which he should have won, I thought. But you just look at it and think, Djokovic's injury was over a week ago, which looked like he was down and out. We didn't think he was going to make the final.
No.
But he's done it again, hasn't he, Corey? He's beat him in straight sets. Normal day.
Yeah, it was a normal day at the office, wasn't it? But, I do agree with what you said. Medvedev, coming into this match, he only dropped 2 sets en route to the final. He beat Tsitsipas in straight sets in the semi-final. Whereas Djokovic had problems from round 2. He went 4 sets with Tiafoe. Round 3, 5 sets with Taylor Fritz. He went 4 sets with Raonic in round 4. And then quarterfinal with Zverev, he went 4 sets again. So, and there was obviously the injury. So on paper, you would have thought the final would have been a little bit closer than straight sets.
No, and the first set was great, wasn't it? It was literally, I think Djokovic went 3 games ahead and obviously broke his serve, but then Medvedev reacted and said, it ain't going to be that easy, mate, and then did what he had to do. But, first set was like, yeah, that's what you expect from a Grand Slam final, it to be very tight at the beginning, but that was it, wasn't it? The second set, he got away, and then third set, Medvedev was non-existent. It even got to that point when he was 5-2 down in the third set, I think it was, and Medvedev's getting the crowd to just cheer, just go. It's kind of like, I'm sorry it wasn't much of an entertainment for you, but here we go. Shame, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but I mean, it's only his second Grand Slam final in his career so far, and I don't think it's going to be the last. especially with how he played at the tour finals last year, in amongst the top players in the world and coming out on top as champion. You know, it was a little bit of a disappointing final this time round, but I think there's a lot of things that he can take from it into the future and maybe go that one step further and win a slam. I'm confident that he can do it at some point. I just don't think now's the right time.
No, and you know, we see like people like Dominic Thiem, don't we? Where I think it took him 3 or 4 finals to get the Grand Slam last year at the US Open, where you know he came so close in the Aussie Open last year against Djokovic. So I guess maybe that's what Medvedev does, doesn't he? He looks at players like Thiem and think, I will get there as long as I just keep turning up at these finals.
Yeah, it's like it's a case of what is everybody else doing,
Yeah,
and how can I do it better?
yeah, absolutely. And Medvedev's a weird one, isn't he? He's what I quite like about him is his team. He only takes his coach pretty much. He's only got like one coach, and he did that even. It was easy for him at the finals because at the finals they could only take like I think they could only take 2 members or something like that of their team because of COVID restrictions, which meant his girlfriend, his partner, could not go with him, which is probably easy for him. A week away, he was like, yes, a week away from family, I can't complain. But he just had his coach, and he's been with him the whole way. So I guess for him it was quite easy. But I guess maybe Medvedev is maybe reminding some of these players to just go, look, yes, you can get a specialist in this, you can get a physio in that, all this, and that. But you just, it all comes just down to your talent, surely, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much advice that you can take off someone. If, you know, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on the best in the sport to advise you to get to a certain point, but really it's you that needs to take everything and put that into your game to win. So you don't necessarily need, you know, 500 trainers. You don't need a load of fitness coaches. I mean, I just think it's down to you.
Yeah.
Like you win or you lose, it's down to you.
Absolutely. I think before we talk about what happened in the women's tennis, so Djokovic is now on 18 Grand Slams. I think it's fair to say when we look at the calendar each year at the moment, Aussie Open, Djokovic is the favourite. French Open, Nadal's the favourite. Wimbledon is hit and miss. It could be Federer as long as he's fit, but also Djokovic, I'd say. He likes the Wimbledon tournament. But then the US Open is just open. It's just anyone's.
It's a free-for-all, isn't it?
One moment it's teams, one moment it's Nadal's. You think, Nadal, what are you doing on hard court? It's just crazy. But when you look at the current, we talked about this 2-3 years ago when we were at the Cal and FM studios. It was me, you, Kyle, and I think it was Luke. I can't remember, but it was us talking about Djokovic winning another Aussie Open a few years ago, and we talked about can he beat Federer and Nadal's record.
Yeah.
A lot has changed. Nadal and Federer level on 20, which is a bit annoying as a Federer fan. I don't like to see someone level, but that's Nadal. He's a very good player. But Djokovic is now just 2 behind. Do you still think he can still do it? Because I think you said that. I think that's what you said, and I think I said that Djokovic would as well. He's on course, isn't he?
I think he's going to do it. I mean, slam number 1 of the year is done, and there's 3 more left. 3 more chances to overtake Nadal and Federer.
Yeah, actually, when you put it like that, it's quite scary to think it could happen this year. We could actually have someone reaching a number that's never been reached before in men's Grand Slam history.
He could do the calendar slam and win all 4 majors in the same year.
And he's done it before.
Yeah.
He did it before. I think it was 2015-16. I think he won the US Open. Yeah, he won the Wimbledon 2015, US Open 2015. And he won the Aussie Open 2016 and the French Open 2016. So yeah, he has done it. It's quite incredible. But the other thing I find, Kara, is despite him winning again, which respect is where it's given. I think we can both give him the respect. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, Djokovic, but I still, I think he's one of those players where you got to make the most out of them before they retire. He's done a great service for the sport, and as we say, we expect him to bring in a new standard that hasn't been touched before. Do you think fans are being a bit harsh because there's always been this dislike, hasn't there, between the fans and Djokovic. And Djokovic last summer obviously did his own tour. I can't remember what it was called. It didn't last long because of COVID, because he caught COVID, so did some of the other members of the group that were in the tour. And then the fans disliked that because they thought, hang on, you can't just think you can carry on because you're Djokovic and you can do whatever you like. Well, all of us here have to stay at home and respect what the governments are saying. You know, that's when he lost a lot of fans. Then he's got involved with the player councils and all that, you know, wanted to change that, and, you know, something that Federer and Nadal normally are in charge of. So it's hard, isn't it, to like him, I think, for the fans, but why do people hate him?
It's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, I don't think you could put him in the category of bad boy of the sport, kind of like your Nick Kyrgios kind of character. But
And
you
he
also,
doesn't like him.
Absolutely not, especially after the comments that have gone on over the last couple of weeks, especially.
Yeah.
But as well, you can't put him in the category of hero, like Nadal, Federer. He's just one of those players that kind of sits in between. Like, he does things that people really don't like the Asia Tour that happened last year. That wasn't really the most sensible of ideas that Novak Djokovic has had. And then you've got instances where he's won his 9th Aussie Open title. He kind of just bounces in between, and yeah, I think it's because of the era of tennis that we're in, because he's unfortunately landed in that era with Federer and Nadal, and they are the calendar people for tennis. Like, they're on the posters, everybody loves them. And then Djokovic is just kind of that one that just can't. He's not Nadal or Federer, which is a shame to say, because Novak Djokovic has done some incredible things in his career and for the sport in general. So he's a bit of a question mark, and I just think some of the bad press doesn't help. And with Nick Kyrgios leading that front on the campaign, I don't think it's going to get any better.
No. I just want them two to have a match. I really do, just to see if anything happens on the court.
The time that happens, I'm getting the popcorn, sitting in front of the telly and watching that. I can't wait for when that next happens, and I hope it's at Wimbledon.
I would love to see it, and I'm sure they will, because there's something about Nick Kyrgios. When he gets the magic going, he is a great player to watch, but sadly it's not as consistent as the likes of Djokovic, Nadal and Federer. I think, here's another one then. Let's say Federer and Nadal were in a different era, or they just didn't exist, do you think if it was Djokovic leading the front like he is now, do you think we would have this kind of spark between the fans and Djokovic?
I think there would be, maybe would be, the haters, because not all people like Nadal and Federer. It's the same with everybody who's in kind of the public eye, whether you just be an influencer or a sports person in general. I think that he would have haters, but I don't think it would be as magnified as it is at the moment.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for Djokovic, because I feel that now that he's kind of in this mix of greatest tennis players of all time, he's kind of compared to the people in that group, Nadal, Federer. So I think that's why people haven't warmed to him as much as they should have. But I mean, as well, I think it was a decade ago now when he started to switch everything up. He ditched that clown character. He wasn't messing about. He wasn't having fun, and he just went full on. I'm going on a gluten-free diet. I'm changing things up. I'm dropping the comedy. I'm going full on serious. And then I think it just kind of went from a likable character on the tour, and it just kind of declined, making silly decisions along the way, like the tour last year, the whole incident with the line umpire at the US Open.
Oh dear, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was scrolling on Instagram last night, and I seen a post by a tennis Instagram, and it said, in the last 8 Grand Slams, Novak Djokovic has only lost to 2 people. One of them being Stan Wawrinka, the second, the line umpire at the US Open.
Brilliant. I was going to say, Wawrinka loved Djokovic in the finals. He beat him at the French and the US Open, I remember, which it was one of those where when he won the US one, you went, I can't believe it. Wawrinka's got 3 Grand Slams. Just how? No disrespect, but I don't think anyone predicted that.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. In all fairness, he would have won that U.S. Open. I think that was his. He was the favourite to win that.
Yeah.
When the ball hit the line umpire, which was probably the start of the end for line umpires, because that ball hit her, and then it was like, right, yeah, you're in decline. We're going to get these computers in, which is kind of a shame. But in all fairness, it works. I think it's a good idea. Before we wrap up, let's of course talk about the women's side of the tennis, where Naomi Osaka, she's done it again. 4 Grand Slams for her now, another Aussie Open title. And it felt like Kara, when she beat Serena Williams the other day, it felt like the pass of the baton. Serena was not happy in her press conference after that match. She was clearly upset, not just about the defeat, I just think in general with her career at the moment. I just feel like Osaka really is the next big thing now. I think we could see that when she won her first Grand Slam, but it's easy to say that about any tennis player. You've got to get a few under your belt to prove you are going to be what people say you're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really exciting time for tennis. I mean, I've been a fan of Naomi Osaka for the last couple of years now. She's a great player, and it's nice to kind of see her win just more than 1 Grand Slam. It wasn't a fluke.
No.
And I think this is the Naomi Osaka era, and I think we should be getting excited about this, because as much as the legends like Serena and Venus are still playing, they're not going to last forever.
No.
So Naomi Osaka, she is the new breed coming through, and she is going to win so many more Grand Slams if she carries on like this. I mean, I think she's like one of the second people in history to have won back-to-back tournaments. She did it in 2018, 2019, US Open, Australian Open, and she did it at the end of last year at the US Open and the start of this year with the Australian Open over the weekend.
Wow.
So it's just mad, and to think that she's won more Grand Slams than she has done WTA titles, it just goes to show that she ups her level for these bigger tournaments.
Absolutely, and that's how they get more remembered, don't they? I mean, the titles are one thing; it's good payday, and it's obviously on their CV. But yes, it is the Grand Slams. That's how these players get remembered. I totally agree. I guess for Serena, it's hard to doubt her, isn't it? It's hard to say she won't win a Grand Slam again. She's had all sorts of hit the wall kind of moments, hasn't she, where you think it's over, but it isn't. So, how long do you think she's got left in tennis? It's a hard question.
Yeah, it's like, how long's a piece of string, isn't it? I mean, she could have another year, she could have another couple of months, she could have another 5 years. We don't know, but I think at the moment, that one thing that she is thinking about more than anything, it's not winning tennis matches, it's, can I break this record of number of Grand Slams? And I think she's chasing that more than she should be chasing after getting her head in the game and beating players that she should be beating relatively routinely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as how long she's got left, who knows? She could surprise us when the French Open comes up in the next couple of months. She could win the French Open, but you never know. It's all about, it comes to the day, it comes down to the player, it comes down to the attitude. And her attitude is, at the moment, she wants to be in the history books rather than I wanna win this Grand Slam.
Absolutely.
So I think the pressure's getting to her, I think, which is why she was so emotional in that press conference after that straight sets defeat on Thursday.
I think that's what's hard for someone like her. It's when that day comes, isn't it? Sometimes they say for most athletes, it's when the doctor says enough's enough, you shouldn't do anymore. For her, it is probably either injury or just when do I stop? 'Cause, I mean, it is a lifestyle for them, isn't it? They tour all around the world. To us, it's different to what us normal lot people do. But at some point, it either really tires them out or they just don't want to not be on that court. So it is an interesting way to end it all. I mean, Daft Punk just split up today, so I'm really sad about that. So I'm, they toured them for a long time. So sadly, all good things must come to an end, as Daft Punk proved today. Anyway, my thanks to Kara. My thanks to you lot at home for watching our latest Let's Talk Sports show live on YouTube. So let us know, why do you hate Djokovic at home? Do you dislike him? Are you jealous of his winning ways? Why can't we just all accept him as a Grand Slam champion and potentially going to be Federer Nadal's records in the next few? They could be this year, according to Kara. Who knows? Who knows? There's 3 more Grand Slams on offer as long as COVID doesn't cancel the events. They're all 3 of them. I'm sure Novak will go for it as long as he's fit. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Do subscribe to Let's Talk Sport. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do like this video, and we'll see you very soon on Let's Talk Sport.